Hi everybody and welcome back to Tales of Wanderlust. I'm Cass, this is Jasper, Napoleon is over here taking a nap, and it is a cold and rainy day here in Arizona. So what better day than to talk about the 10 best Airstream accessories for under $25. So if you're interested, stay tuned. Welcome back to our channel, everybody. If you have read my blog post about the 10 best Airstream accessories, then this is going to seem really familiar to you. But I wanted to put it in video format because these are things that I put into the Basecamp back in my first year of owning it, and I still use them 2.5 years later. So far, everything has held up really well, and they're really good accessories to add into your Basecamp to make storage, organization, and showers even a little bit easier. So let's jump right in and get started with number one. You're adorable! The first item on the list is actually one of my favorite items. So the Basecamp has these cupboards in the kitchen, which are pretty long because they go all the way back the length of the fridge. So when you open them up, you really only see the things right in the front of the cabinet, and it's really hard to see into the back area. So what I did was I purchased motion sensor lights off of Amazon, and now when you open the door, the light comes on. And it works over here too. So it is much easier to find clothes and kitchen stuff, which I have all stored in this cupboard. So if you have dark cupboards in any of your RVs, or if you have the Basecamp, if you want more light in your kitchen, or you have dark cupboards there, these things are awesome. The nice thing about these lights is they are also rechargeable. So I don't need to carry any extra batteries. I just plug them into one of the USB outlets here in the Basecamp, and I can recharge them off of the batteries. It comes on a magnetic strip, which just sticks to the roof of the cabinet. And then the lights themselves are magnetic. So you just pull it off, and then you can take this and charge it. The number 2 item on the list is very similar. It is the same style light, but they're not motion sensor. These ones are touch activated. So you would just turn them on by touching the switch. So these are my vanity lights for the mirror. If these aren't on and you stand here in front of the mirror, I don't know if you'll be able to get it with the camera, but it's very dark. So if you're trying to put on your makeup or do anything like that in this mirror, your face is actually in the shadows when you're staring at it. So the nice part is these lights, they'll turn it into a vanity mirror, which some of us do need. These ones are rechargeable as well, so I just charge it off the same cord as I charge the motion sensor ones. Hi! Hi! Jasper and Napoleon are gonna help me with the 3rd item on the list. And the 3rd item is this distressed wood paneling right here. So the Basecamp, when you purchase it, this is just a plain gray wall. These are individual stickers. So each board is an individual sticker that you put on here. So it really helps it so you can design how you want this to look. You can put in the different colors how you want. And I found that adding in this distressed wood paneling look has really made the whole inside of the Basecamp feel a lot more cozy and a lot more like a home. It does come in a variety of colors. So if you're not into the gray distressed wood look, they do have other options as well. I will say that installing these was not the easiest thing in the world. They do tend to bubble, so you have to have some sort of a rubber scraper so you can really put them on there well and make sure you don't get any bubbles. It did take me a couple or even maybe a few hours to put this whole entire wall up, and it was definitely a test of my patience. But in the end, it is absolutely worth it. I've had this on the wall now for probably 1.5 or 2 years, and none of them have started coming off. I've been in cold weather, really hot weather, humid, non-humid, and everything is still good. So I'm impressed with how these have held up over time. The only spot that they have started coming off is this shelf, which is where I put my iPad so I can watch movies, is only stuck on there by tape. And the tape is not very good, so I'm gonna have to redo it. So as I slowly pull it off the wall, you'll see that I am missing the panel here. So I cut out and ripped out a spot of the panel so that I could tape the shelf directly to the wall. Originally, I did have the shelf taped onto one of these panels, but since it's a sticker attached to a sticker, it was pulling it out weird and was bubbling, and it didn't work very well. So now I use the double-sided tape and I try to make this shelf, which is wood, so Jasper's gonna try to chew it, and I just stick it directly here on the wall. And someday we'll get stronger mounting tape so I can't just pull it off the wall like that. This picture, if you're curious how it's hooked up here, it's actually just double-sided command strips, and they're the Velcro ones. And so I put them on the frame, attached it to the wall. It's a really light frame and it has never moved. It's been up there for the same amount of time as the panels. So all in all, definitely worth the time and effort, but give yourself a good amount of time to put this up if you want to install it. For the number 4 item on the list, we must enter the bathroom. All right, so the number 4 item is actually something I learned from my friends over at Camp Addict, which if you ever want really good gear reviews, check out campaddict.com. And that's actually where I go for a lot of my gear reviews when I'm researching things. But my shower head is actually dripping water, so now I have to mop my floor. There is a shutoff valve on here. So if you can see this valve right here, this shutoff valve is amazing. And this is one of the things that lets me shower every single day, even though I have very small tanks. So with RV shower heads, you'll notice that when you use the knob that comes on the shower head itself, there's always a dribble that comes out of the shower head. So even if you think you have the water off, it's dribbling. So the shutoff valve on the head will actually cut off the water completely. It's actually just a regular 1/2-inch valve. So it's a very simple device, but by doing that, it allows you to save water. And that can come down to a couple different reasons why. So the way that I shower, I heat up my hot water tank just to the point where the water is at the temperature that I'm comfortable with. So that's between 15 and 20 minutes, depending on what the ambient temperature is. And then I just turn on the hot water. So there's only hot water coming out, and I can use the shutoff valve to stop it completely. Then I actually use the shutoff valve as well to only do about a half flow of water. And then I can take a nice rinse off shower. This is not when I wash my hair, but this is just an evening rinse off shower. And I can use less than a gallon of water, and you'll barely even notice the water use in your tanks. The other benefit, if you're mixing the hot and cold water, and the Camp Addict article about this, which I'll link to below, explains it a little bit better than I will probably explain it, but there is a different pressurization between your hot water and your cold water. So when you just let it dribble, that's why you turn it back on from the dribble and you get a rush of cold water. The shutoff valve really helps to reduce that. It doesn't reduce it completely. So if you leave the shower head off for a while with that shutoff valve and you turn it back on, it's still gonna be cold when you go to turn it back on. So there are other ways that you can address that if you wanted. But for me, since I just heat up the water to the temperature that I need, I love this thing and I can take a shower every single night. I did install mine here on the shower head. The only impact of that is it doesn't fit as well into this nesting cradle anymore. So when I move the RV, I do take this off and I lay it on the floor for moving days. You can take that shutoff valve and attach it down to the bottom of the hose as well if you wanted. It's just that then if you're in the shower, you have to actually reach down in order to turn the water off. For number 5 on the list, we're going back into the kitchen. Now, number 5 and number 6 are related, but they're a little bit different. And what the difference is how removable these are. So number 5 is really not removable, it's more permanent. Is these double stick hooks. Now, these are more of a permanent mounting and you're not gonna really get these off, and I don't know if it will do damage to the wood here if you do try to take them off. So make sure you really wanna put them on before you do. But these black hooks I use to hang things like my kitchen towels and things like that in the kitchen. I also have a silver version right here, which holds the plastic grocery bags that I use for garbage. And these hooks have been here since the week I picked up the Basecamp, and they are still holding strong. So I'm very impressed with these hooks. They are more of a decorative style. So especially these black ones up here, you can't even tell they were added in after. They almost look like they should be a part of the Basecamp. Number 6 is also a hook, but it is a command hook. So command hooks are removable, which is great because I've moved a lot of these around. So they do come in a nickel finish, which blends in really well with the aluminum walls. And you can simply pop them off, pull that stickiness out, and then move them to a new location. You will need these extra command strips, which I always carry extras with me in case these hooks ever do fall off, or if I want to move them around. So I have these hooks all over the place. I've got one here for my jackets. It's one of the bigger ones. I have one here where I hang Jasper's leash and harness, and towels if it is dirty outside. I have 2 over here which hold my hair towel and then also my shower towel. I have 1 down here in the kitchen cabinet, which is where my strainer hangs. And then I also have the smaller versions, which is how things like this hang. So this one is actually the small plastic version, but still command hook. In my bedroom, you will also see that the book holder is hung by a command hook, one of those little metal ones. And then all of my paintings and pictures are hung by command double-sided strips as well. So command strips really are a big thing to have along with you when you're living in an RV. I do carry extras with me. And that way, if something comes up and I need to attach something, or even when a friend was traveling with me, we needed an extra hook for her jackets. So I just hung an extra hook for the week. We hung her jackets up there. And then when she left, I pulled that hook off the wall. So they are really great, and I always carry a few extras with me as well as extra strips. We're gonna stay on the command bandwagon, if that is a thing, for a while. And we're gonna go back into the bathroom, which we need the light on. So in the bathroom, there is this holder here, which is where I keep my Tide Pods, my black tank pods, hair clip, and then also a little pump. But there really was no good place for shampoo. They do give you a really small shelf, but it doesn't have much storage. So I ended up putting up this nickel basket. And again, it's just some command strips that you attach the basket to. I travel with this with all of the shampoo in it, and it has never fallen off the wall. So even with 2 things of shampoo and dog shampoo and my soap, that thing will go down back dirt roads, bumping all around, and it does not fall off the wall. So I'm really impressed with that. The other shelf I have from Command is back in this cupboard, and it is a plastic shelf right here. So it also just connects to the wall, and you can easily lift it out, which I can't do with one hand. You have to have 2 hands. It gives a little bit of extra storage in here because I found otherwise you have this really big tall space, and I didn't have anything tall to store. I have this basket, which is where a lot of my canned goods, rice, and things like that go. And then I had all this empty space up in here. So by putting this white basket where I can keep my olive oil, breadcrumbs, vinegar, things like that in there, it just gives me a little extra storage, which I really need in such a small space. This is another one of those things that I never really think about, and I leave the oil and everything in there when I'm driving down the dirt roads, and it has never come off the wall. So those stick to the walls really well and are great for moving around in the RV. For number 9, we are back in the bedroom, and it is this shelf right here. So this is not a Command product. It is just something that I found on Amazon, but it is similar. You attach it via double-sided tape, and it's just a great bedside shelf. In the Basecamp, there really is no bedside shelves or storage or anything in the bed. So if you want a place for your phone or glasses, anything like that at night, you're not really gonna have it. So this is a great place where I can store those things. I also put some of those metal permanent hooks down here, and then I can hang my headphones and different things like that down here as well, kind of doubling the storage space with the shelf. So this is kind of more of a Basecamp specific one, but it really is easy to add extra storage anywhere with this stick-on shelf. And finally, we are on item number 10. This again is a very Basecamp specific item. It's also specific to the older models of the Basecamp. Mine is a 2018, and it did not come with a shower curtain. I think it was the 2020 or the 2021 model years and later, they do come with a shower curtain now. So the Basecamp door does not seal completely on the bottom. When you're showering in there, you will have some water leaking out and dripping onto the floor. So what I did is I put up this tension rod, and I added this waterproof shower curtain, which it has a nice leaf design on it, so it's not your typical plastic one. And this keeps all the water from leaking out onto the floor. So this is huge, and it really helps with water issues. And for anybody with an older Basecamp, I would highly recommend getting some sort of curtain in your Basecamp. So those are my top 10 recommended items for the Airstream Basecamp. Hopefully you found these helpful. If you've used these products or have other products that you recommend, I would love it if you commented below and shared with all of us. So from Jasper, Napoleon, and myself, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.